that was built in 1975. Whew, a long time ago. So back in the day, they floated floors, and that's what this is. It's a floated floor, although it's very thinly floated because this type of condo and apartments are a lot like this too, has like this mortar bed. It's usually about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. They're not that great because they crack over time, and I don't particularly like them. So it's very possible this tile was right over this mortar bed, which arguably is still a floated floor. But regardless, this is going to be updated finally, but everything is old in here. The vanity with this ugly, Formica that is long past its prime. 2.5 gallon toilet, bathtub, and it's not anywhere near what we're doing today. It's pretty bad. But be that as it may, it's going to be brand new. It's going to be updated to 2020 style, and it's going to look really, really sharp when it's done. I'm not actually doing a tub to shower conversion, which I do a lot of. In this case, I'm keeping the tub. It's pretty pristine considering its age. And it's metal. Usually they're cast iron from back in the day. So going forward, taking all this material out, putting in a new shower fixture. Look at that tub spout. Putting in a new shower fixture, putting in a new tile all the way to the ceiling. I don't think I'm doing a border. I know I'm doing a niche. The niche will be trimmed out with Schluter trim and edging, if you will, a profile, if you will. So that niche will be there. I don't think I'm doing any kind of bench or a step up or anything. I'm not sure. But everything's getting changed out. Everything you see, from the vanity to the toilet to new tile and new flooring in this entire bathroom. So it'll be really, really sharp when it's done. The contrast will be night and day. Getting to this. Sometimes I put information out there. I kind of assume questions ahead of time, and I don't know if people have questions or not, so I answer them anyway, regardless. This is what's referred to if you have old style builder's grade tile, which 4x4 with this powder grout that can come out 40 years later is what I call builder's grade tile. So this is so there's a mud cap, which if you had a floated wall, meaning you have some mortar back there that's screeded onto the wall, and or you have sheetrock on top of sheetrock, they put what's called a mud cap. So it's not a bullnose like this, it actually comes in a round, kind of a quarter round circle. That would be a mud cap. This is a bullnose. So the two are sometimes interchangeably. People verbalize, mud cap for bullnose, or they don't know the difference, and that's what this is. So this is clearly on top of sheetrock, which means there's no mortar behind there, which, yay, I like that, because then I'll just go in with a Dremel or a small blade on a Sawzall, and I'll just cut out the perimeter all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. I can pull this out in sections, relatively easy. What else? So yeah, going forward, this has never ever gotten caulking on here. And people always ask me the question, do you caulk in the change of planes? No. If there's a problem, which there was at some point with separation, because buildings move, they expand and contract and all that stuff, and all the wood material behind it does that, and then it transfers to a corner, and that corner is pretty much pristine. Not a lot of movement, and a lot of movement. So do I, by default, do I do caulking? No. Caulking, there's a reason to do caulking. They put some on here, it's very thin, it's hard to see. Very, very thin caulking. But otherwise, it's pretty much pristine. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that they did not put their backer board on top of the edge of the tub, that they put their backer board on the lip of the tub. And for that reason, we're not seeing a lot of mold and mildew going on, because I would anticipate that on a shower, on a bathtub enclosure this old, I would anticipate really dark colored, whatever's behind there, whether it's grout, whether it's caulking or whatever it is. I would anticipate and expect that when they put the backer board on the edge of the tub, because water will always bypass the caulking and or the grout, get into that backer board, wick up, and then yes, you have food, moisture, and air, which is what mold and mildew thrives on. So when I do the demo, I'm going to be able to tell if they put it on the lip of the tub, which they should, or the edge, which they should not. Anywho, the point of going through all that is this: 75, 85, 95, 2005, 2015. We're in 2020, right? So 45 years. 45 years. If you're 45 years old, this shower was built when you were born. And a little minor cracking going on. A little minor cracking. So when people say, oh, you should always caulk between the planes and all that stuff. Yeah, whatever. My shower is 5 years old, 6 years old. There's no caulking at the change of planes because there needs to be a reason for that. And we have a reason here finally 45 years later. But to do it by default, expecting the worst, no, I don't do that. But that's all I have to say about this. It's going to be a, as I said, a very, it looks like they've changed out these tile over the years. I think maybe they had some tile pop up at some point, but we definitely have some cracking going on, which is that same cracking I was showing out here on that mortar bed. And that cracking from the mortar bed transferred through the tile, and that's why we have this stuff going on. So going forward, I'm going to change this out, swap everything out. This will take me about more or less 3 days, maybe 4 days. It might push into 4 days, but this is day one, the tear out and some of the plumbing issue and all that stuff, and then I can start putting everything back together. So there you go. All right, a quick update. All the tile is out of here. The vanity's gone, the mirror's gone, the toilet's gone, the walls are gone. So I just popped in for a couple of things because I don't know who's watching and who has questions and who doesn't, but I'm going to address the wallboard first. This is very bizarre. They have 5/8 sheetrock and then another, it looks like another layer of 5/8. I don't know, maybe ½ inch. It's a huge, like, it looks like 1.5 inches of wallboard, which is really weird. The other thing is, like, they use this, it's like a fiber rock. And I'm not sure that I've seen it because I'm familiar with fiber rock, but this has a paper backing on it, whereas I don't believe fiber rock does. Plus is tapered at the end like sheetrock. Maybe it's just some old sheetrock. Either which way, this is not wet. This is just the color of the paper. And I was correct in my assumption that they set the wallboard on top of the lip and then had the tile, had the gap here, you see, which is what I've been doing the last couple of years, just by default, because it makes no sense to have the wallboard sitting on the edge of the tub at all, which is why there is no mold or mildew. So yeah, that's how it's set, and that's how it should be. That is my opinion. A lot of people disagree with me, but obviously this guy already could predict the future. He was Nostradamus. Oops, I'm gonna have to put that in there. A couple other things too, quickly. I don't want to take up too much time. When you are cutting through here, and again, do it the way you want to, but a heads up and a fair warning that if you use a Sawzall, you have to understand there's going to be potential wires, yes, back here. There's going to be potential plumbing, although this is dry, but these are not. And these are literally sitting right up against the wall, about 3/4 inch off. So I highly recommend that you use a Dremel rather than a Sawzall, and or know where you're plumbing and know that you have wiring and all that stuff, even if you have to do a little peeky-boo in the back to make sure that you're on point. It would be a bad day if you hit a pipe. There are other contractors that I've seen hit pipes, and it is not a good thing, especially in a customer's house. But yeah, be careful of that stuff. Anyway, I am 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours in on this demo, And so now the build back process begins. It's relatively easy when I'm not building a shower. Just the walls and the tile on the floor, basically, and then the toilet and the vanity. So I want to address this cracking here, as you can see. Oh, another thing too. Don't go in, if you have a floor like this, do not go in with a jackhammer. You will not have a good day if you start cracking this up, even worse than it is. There's no reason to. So not a jackhammer. I'm using a chisel. I'm using a pry bar, flat pry bar, and I'm just knocking the tile off of there, and then, you know, it comes off relatively easy because it's just mortar. What I'm going to do in here to prevent that, you could use Curdy. You could use, if you wanted to, Detra. There's a lot of applications that you can use to prevent any cracking from coming up through your tile again, as we saw already. I'm going to use a liquid topical membrane, so probably 2 to 3 coats after I get all this really vacuumed out well. I'm going to wet it down, and then I'm going to put 2 or 3 coats of Red Guard or Aqua Defense or some type of liquid topical membrane painted on here, and it is a crack preventer, and it doesn't cause that rise that you would have, and it doesn't require all the other, yeah. Anyway, that's so the cracks in the concrete. Don't go in with a jackhammer. Set your wallboard on the lip of the tub, and not the edge of the tub. What else? Yes, and be careful of all your pipes and your utilities. Don't go into those. So going forward, I'm going to be able to put 1/2 inch backer board on here. It looks like I got about 1/2 inch right there, so that should work out. My tile will still overlap that. If I have to shim it out, I will. This back end, I am stuck like Chuck. There's nothing I can do. I have to match up to the old wallboard there, so I've got 2 layers of something that has to go in there. That's it. That's all I have to say. Hope that helps. Hope that helps somebody. I don't know who's watching. But yeah, I'm going to go forward with putting this back together. It is 2 days later. I have Red Guard all over the floor, all inside the cracks, so that won't ever transfer up. I have my tile set up, ready, and yes, this is ready to go. For those of you that ask all the time, I use green board. When your backer is waterproofed, it's irrelevant what the backer is. If this was 8-inch cinder block, I would still waterproof it. So therefore your tile is going on the waterproof and not the makeup of your backer. I don't know who wrote Booby G. Yeah. My name is Bob D. They got that all wrong. Anyway, got a little niche in the back. Got my ledger boards up. I'm ready to start slinging tile. Even on a normal shower, regardless this is a tub, my ledger boards always go up. You can see where this tub is kind of cockeyed. It's not level, but my ledger boards are. So I have probably, I think, 11 1/4 cut eventually down here when I pull those off. And then I think I'm tapped out right at 11 3/4 there, right below where the shower valve is, which is excellent. I like that. And yeah, it's ready to go. So I'm going to start slinging tile on this. It's all prepped, and it is from 1975, a brand new, or getting ready to be a brand new shower. So I'm going to get busy. Done. So this shower will last a lifetime. Like literally, if somebody doesn't like this in 20 years, they can change it out. But this will last 30, 40, 50 years. So as you saw, all the tile sits on the bottom. There are some people that want to do caulking right away in the corners where the plane changes are. I don't do caulking unless it's needed. In the future, if there's cracking going on, separation from the 2 tile, then yes, we're going to be caulking. Otherwise, you're kind of chasing your tail, because that caulking is going to get disadhered from the tile. It's going to get all grungy and all that stuff. You'll have to take it out, put some more back again in a year or 2. So yeah, good to go. Just a little heads up on some of the nuances of doing a tile on a tub. Don't let your backer board sit on the tub. Not a good idea. They didn't do it before, and I didn't do it now. But I am out of here, on to the next job. Hey, if you enjoyed that video and you learned something, consider being a Patreon member. $5, $10, $15 a month would help me greatly produce more videos. I make nothing from YouTube at all. If you're gonna call me for advice, please donate $50 for 30 minutes. My link to my PayPal and my Patreon account is down below. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get immediate notifications as soon as I post videos. And thank you very much for your support.